We live?
It says that. Whatever that means.
Let me double check it. Last time we didn't have audio.
Yeah, last time we weren't right on. We weren't prepared.
Yeah, I think we're golden now.
So we got it.
Golden. Perfect.
Right on.
Golden.
We'll be back in action
Hey,
here.
long bus.
We're back.
Everybody ready?
Mikey, you look beautiful. I like your smile.
Yeah, I love it too. It's been a week, man. I actually had to go to work.
Work sucks.
Yeah, so I left last Sunday to go to Page to do some electrical work on the Walmart.
Who are you working
And
with?
what I mean by do electrical work is hand my buddy tools on a scissor lift while he makes me go fetch shit out of the Connex. But so
That's your story?
yeah, no, I'm just saying. I just went up there Sunday.
You're like
I actually had to do.
the rest of us work all the time, right? Like you like work so infrequently that like when you go do it, it's a foreign thing. Like the rest of us is like, I never not worked.
Well, I have pretty much until about 2 years ago. I worked solid, never really had any time off. 2 years ago, I kind of retired fully.
At the ripe age of, you're not even 40, are you?
37.
The ripe age of 37, you decide to hang it up.
So I did 410s up in Page, which one, it was cold as shit.
You're inside.
Listen, it was cold. I had to run to the Connex 8 fucking times a night to get shit out. 2, the elevation really gets you fucking winded, especially when you're my weight. Yeah, out of shape as fuck.
Oh, Martin's in. All right. Our favorite Polish guy.
I love that fucking guy. He was a snowball all day. That guy's living the fucking dream. So yeah, I went to fucking Page Sunday. We pulled 410s. I drove up there and then I just drove back. Got in town about 2:30. Took a little nap. We got a little bit of late start, but here we are. So yeah, that was my week. How about you?
Oh man,
Anything
it's
amazing?
just such a flash. I've been so busy lately. I don't even.
Yeah.
Days just go. It seemed like 10 minutes ago. I was just.
What happened this week? Probably not.
Just do stuff. Yeah, just between construction.
How many hours are you putting in from when you leave the house to when you're actually back, sitting down on the couch? I mean, how many hours? I mean,
pretty much every day. No, not that many. Usually, I leave the house. We're out the door by 6:30, and then usually home by 8. So 14 hours usually for me.
A lot. It's really a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it.
You're constantly moving.
But because I'm always doing something different and I have the freedom to kind of do what I want, it helps, right? Like, so like if I had to go do that, like my girlfriend goes to one place, does exactly that the whole day, right? And I commend her. But like for me, I mix it up. So like yesterday I wanted to buy some stuff. So I went to Prescott, drove up there, bought a trailer, bought a motorcycle, came back, worked construction stuff. Then I do the stuff with Daniel. And then, I go pick my chick up and blah, 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 and I might run an errand in there. I might go to the post office. I might, do all my life stuff too. Sure. So it mixes it up. It breaks it up, the monotony. But yeah, it's long days. But I like it. I don't know what the fuck else I would do. I can't imagine.
I mean, I could think of a million things. I mean, you could go fishing. You could sleep. Plenty of shit on TV.
No, I've seen all there is to offer on like Pornhub. They need to come out with a new version because I've seen all those TV, already.
I watch that shit for entertainment. I mean,
I'm hyperactive, you know me, so I have a hard time sitting still. So for me, no, I can't. I don't do it well where I'm just gonna sit.
What's the opposite of hyperactive? Because that's what I would be.
Badass, retired, lethargic, active.
But I forgot my teeth at home.
Yeah, whatever happened. So what's the full story? So how did you? Well, a couple. There's like 10 things with this. Or can we talk about it? Because I don't want to like put you on the spot or whatever. 100%. All right, so let's go like chronologically.
Go ahead.
So the first one is what happened? How you don't have your front teeth? Show them like what's happening. Good in the. All right. So what happened there that they're gone?
I was 20. I was living on my mom's couch at the time. I just got evicted from my first apartment.
Right, that's normal.
Yeah,
that's 20-year-old shit.
From a lot, So living on her couch. I was partying with some cats. One night at the apartments across the street from my mom's apartment, and
speaking of mom, I think she just logged in and said, "I was wondering where your teeth were."
That's Bonnie.
Oh, I can't read it from here. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
So I was partying with these cats, and they just got overly drunk, and next thing you know, somebody was showing up at my front door looking for his brother. Some cats that I was with earlier that night. They weren't really friends, obviously.
Right.
Anyways, they tried to I opened the door. They had some chick with them that was crying. It looked like they just whooped her ass.
Or beat a girl up.
Yeah, and so they were yelling at me in some Spanish shit. And basically they tried to barge into my mom's apartment, and my two nieces were spending the night over there at the time. I tried to hold them back, and as I pushed them back, there was like three guys. And the one dude in the very back had this fucking river rock in his hand, like behind his back, and just full-fledged, boom, right in my mouth. Hit me square in the fucking mouth.
And there's like not more to it. You guys weren't like...
No, it wasn't.
This is like literally just bad luck?
Yeah, it wasn't just like a drug deal gone bad or nothing. Like, I didn't owe anybody money at that time.
Like, you didn't...
I was doing a lot of drugs and partying. But
you didn't like... fuck his sister.
No ill feelings toward these guys when it happened.
They literally just showed up. You didn't know them. They didn't know you.
We weren't in an argument. There wasn't a fight. There wasn't. I mean, like I said, there was no underlying story. There was no secret. I'm pretty upfront about everything.
I know.
It was just
just a stroke of bad luck.
Just 100%. Got hit with a river rock. Ended up taking the 4 teeth up top and one on the bottom.
Damn.
Good news is I didn't clinch up. I was fucking wasted. Just blowed out of my mind, drunk as fuck. So I didn't clinch up because of the reaction time, right? So if I would have clinched, they said they probably would have broke. But they all came out of the root, so they didn't have to go in there and clean anything out. Clean came out all on the floor. By the time the teeth came out and the blood started coming, these guys ran away. Like the pussies they were, right?
Right.
Because you throw a rock at somebody and then you just fucking run. It didn't knock me out though.
That is some bullshit too, right? It's 3-on-1 and then you hit him with a rock. It's like,
right.
Like
you
if it's
fuck me up with your fist.
Well, hey, if he gets me, then you jump in. If he gets you, hit that motherfucker with a rock. Okay, like we got like you're number 3rd on the depth chart, but like the first 2, at least try. Yeah, so you got sucker punch. That goes on.
A rock. Yeah. Sucker rock.
You got rock, sucker rock.
But all right. So that was when I was 17 years ago. And so I've had these. I get these retainers. I'm on my 3rd one because they only last so long.
Right. Well, the dog ate one. I remember that.
Talked about that on one of the podcasts.
Dog ate you one. All right.
But this one's actually really nice. My in-laws bought me this one because they were tired of me walking around looking stupid. Because after the last one got chewed up, I didn't have money for it. This new one I have is like $1,200. And so it's.
So like the first thing is, and question is like, how did it happen? What happened? And quite frankly, I wish I could come up with a good joke or something, but I don't have one. That shit just sucks, right?
100%.
So let's chalk that one up to like you're a victim of like circumstance, but in the realm of like who, what, why, and when, the next question is, what are you going to do about it? And so I had like super terrible teeth, right? And I ended up spending, I don't know, maybe like $10,000 getting my teeth done basically over the course of the last 3 years. Now I do everything the hard way and I probably could have done it more affordably, but I spent a bunch of money, right? And when I say back, like look back, I say, well, the best thing I've ever done was get my teeth right? It's paid dividends, I joke with my girlfriend that if I didn't ever get my teeth done, she wouldn't even date me, But so my question to you is, why have you not considered and or maybe went ahead right into get some implants so you're done with it? Because I just got an implant done because I fucked this tooth off. Right. For $200, I could have fixed it. Mm-hmm. Long story short, $7,000 later, got this tooth finally implanted and it's great now. That's the strongest, best tooth I got is this implant and looks good. It's in the back. Well, so why have you not considered that, do the implant deal?
Terrified
of
scared the dentist. Absolutely scared.
It's not dentist. You go to oral surgeon.
Well, whatever.
It's even worse.
Doing anything in my fucking mouth, just kind of scares the shit out of me. So I don't know. It's one of those things that the retainer doesn't bother me because I can actually pull it out. And I don't wish this on anybody, but if it ever does happen, you'll realize how comfortable it is to, pop 4 teeth out at night.
What?
Kind of like let your mouth breathe, you know, and then I don't know.
No, that's kind of like called the confirmation bias. Like I think everybody should have an orange truck because I have one. No, probably not. Right? Most people aren't like orange truck. So like the thing is like, I sympathize with what you're saying, and what I've chalked it up is so I have really bad control issues. Like I don't like riding in limousines. You know, like I don't want to have my back towards traffic. You ain't fucking getting me in the middle of this submarine sandwich car, you know, with my back towards the shit. This dickhead's got a Kango hat. Now he's an expert driver.
Yeah, right. You
right.
Guys like me that drive the limos in a suit.
Yeah, exactly that. No, and now
you know?
we're out fucked up looking at Christmas lights, and we're gonna get T-boned. I'm never gonna see it coming. You know, the last thing going through my head is gonna be my fucking asshole because I got T-boned from the back, right?
Yeah.
So I have control issues, and so with those control issues, like I can't do the dentist thing, and I've got terrible gag reflex. Like I already know. Sometimes I think like being gay wouldn't be the end of the world. It would be kind of nice, right? But I already know I couldn't do it because my gag reflex are so bad. Like he'd have to have a super little one, you know. So like, you know, he'd have to have a super tiny dick for us to work long term, you know, to make it sustainable, right? Because I got these bad gag reflex. So what I do is I just pay extra. I get anesthesia. They, you know, you go there, they hit you with the. Yeah. And the next thing you know, you wake up, you don't even know your name. Kind of the scariest part to me is not saying the wrong thing when you come out, right?
Yeah.
You know, you come out and call the damn dentist a whore or something, you know, or whatever,
I'm
right?
Sure they understand. They probably get that happens a lot. You know?
Then you come back for the follow-up and oh, you the guy called me a fucking whore.
I mean, I'm sure that it's subconscious.
But yeah, so my point is, you go to sleep, right? You wake up, and all of a sudden you're doing a little better. And
I don't. Yeah.
Man, we got started late tonight. Look at this bullshit. My bedtime reminder is going off right now.
Oh shit! Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, we did get a late ass start. But
yeah,
like I said, it's been a week.
Better late than never. Yeah, it has been a long week.
All right, so some networking shit going on earlier, so you know he had to go do that, which is understandable.
Oh yeah, I got free candy and a bottle of Bailey's. Well, it wasn't free. Actually, it was. I got hosed because it was a white elephant, so I had to bring $25.
Oh shit! So you paid $25 for candy and Bailey's.
Yeah, I had to swap out a $25 Home Depot gift card for that bullshit, you know. Yeah. Yep. Well,
so.
But it was cool, you know. The thing is, the economy's changed. So yeah, now I'm going to networking events.
You actually got to go pretend to give a shit again,
dude. We've gotten so spoiled. Like we've gotten so spoiled the last couple years with construction, where it was like, here's the price. Oh, you don't like it, and then you would see these TikToks. I'm busier than a cat covering up shit in the sandbox. Blah. Dude, that's gone.
I had 4 fucking dudes show up in my house for this fireplace, outdoor fireplace wall I wanted to build, right? They didn't want to fucking touch it. You know, they're telling me, oh, well, you go get the material and then we'll come back. What the fuck you mean? I'm hiring you to do a job. You go pick up the fucking material. You know, I don't know what the fuck to get. He's telling me I need this metal firebox and get this many cinder blocks and get this shit. Fuck you. But guess what? I'm excited. I can finally get that wall built.
Oh yeah,
for about $1,500.
No, I had a buddy that was getting something done, and he's a cheap motherfucker. You know, he's like, I got a quote for $15,000. He said, for $15,000, I'll do it. You know, the frame of structure. And he goes, well, shit, if you'll do it for that, I gotta be able to get it cheaper. So he got another quote, $11,000. He ended up getting done for $3,200. Like $15,000 to $3,200,
man.
Yeah, no.
These motherfuckers, they're. I mean, like I said, the last couple of years, man, they were, you know, just really hosing. You know, the price was up on everything. You know, those lumber prices. Remember those lumber prices was crazy.
Oh, that's when I did my place in Payson. It was so high.
Yeah, right.
But at the same time, like your property was going up $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month.
So it even out.
So okay, 2x4 is $8, no problem.
Yeah.
I just made $10,000 in my house. I hate how it doesn't tell us the thing. So it says, how is BJ Motors going? Are you guys in the green? If you're trying to speak in some sort of financial wizardry, it's either red or black, not green. But good one, by the way, for that, you know. So I'm probably Warren Buffett here chiming in, talking about our financial position.
God, I love it.
Yeah, but, you know, things are changed now. You know, houses, you know, stock market's been just in the dumpster. It's going to be that for a while, potentially. I've lost entirely too much this year, but houses have just become more available, but they're not on sale yet.
No,
and
still kind of cheap. They went down, but not insanely.
You can get concessions now. So if you're buying a house, they're going to give you a 3-2-1 buy down to reduce the interest rate. Something.
People got to make an effort to sell now, which they weren't before.
That bad piece of fascia out front, they're going to go ahead and fix it.
Yeah.
Whereas
before, you had motherfuckers paying $60,000 over.
It was like a privilege to be able to pay more and buy it. Had to have cash. Like the way it was really going was, okay, we're gonna offer you, we'll pay cash, and as if that's not enough, we're gonna do a quick close. So not 30 days. We're gonna do a 2-week close, or sometimes as close as a week close.
And we'll get that motherfucker locked in.
We'll waive the appraisal.
Yeah.
And then waive the fucking inspection. So what we're saying is, you just walk the shit. I mean, like the bed is still warm while you're leaving, and we're gonna move in, and so that's gone.
Well, the kickbacks on all that shit, everyone was just fucking killing it, right?
I don't know about kickbacks. That's kind of like, give me an example of what kind of kickback you think would happen.
I mean, I don't know. A kickback with the fucking realtors, the inspectors getting paid off to kind of overlook shit. I mean, there's so much of that goes on.
I don't think. You
don't want to admit. I mean,
I don't think on that level. But here's what it is: the inspector's getting paid $350 a house, right? Now, what if you do 6 houses a day? So how good is the inspection going to be? This dickhead gets in the attic, hits the flashlight, looks that way. Now this motherfucker's crawling in the back. Hey, I saw a nail hanging through. So I think more of that, just the quality control, a lot of people getting out of the industry, mortgage people, home inspector,
Well, they just don't have work.
Well, yeah, but there was a appraisal. I had an appraisal done on this condo that I was going to buy, and I'm getting waxed on that deal. But at any rate, I paid like $600. I'm not joking. They were there for a fucking hour. So I'm just real quick doing the math going, okay, so they were here for an hour. There's 24 hours in a day. And an unlimited amount of appraisals at $600, these motherfuckers are making like $4,500 a day, doing appraisals and everything else, So they were killing it. But, at the same time, everybody in construction was making money. And that kind of became the problem. Now you got some douchebag landscaper cutting roses, and he's driving a TRX, 700 horsepower with a fucking supercharged Hemi. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, no, yeah, no, your pool guy's pulling up in a fucking Range Rover because he's got so many pools to do, right?
And you guys did. Everyone had a fucking $140,000 platinum F350.
Something, yeah.
They still got them, right?
Yeah, no, something,
Everyone fucking signed the paper for that. Oh, hey,
no,
$3,200 a month truck payment. I don't give a shit for 8 years.
No, fuck. On my truck, I mean, I put $35,000 down.
Okay.
And my payment was like $1,200 a month. And keep in mind, that was when interest was low. My interest rate was only like 4%. And my payment was $1,200. And it's a fucking 7-year loan. You can't even do that anymore. So, people lost their mind. That's the problem, right? So that happened. And it created this thing called inflation. And so the Federal Reserve comes out and goes, okay, well, the one thing we have to protect is the United States dollar for whatever reason, as shitty as that is. Right, the dollars you guys can't have, they can only exist in the bank. You can't have them in any other form. We got to protect those, and so they just keep raising interest rates, to basically bring that back down, But yeah, the construction people lost their fucking minds, maybe to a certain extent, myself included, just all hat, no cattle, motherfuckers, Oh yeah, I got a job next Tuesday,
Human nature, though. I mean, really, it never quits.
I had a painter tell the customer that they didn't do a good job because they didn't charge enough. And the homeowner was like, how about blah, 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 And Ernesto was like, oh, yeah, sorry, we don't charge enough. That's what he said, Hey, and you know what? Fucking good for him for telling the truth, He should have charged more. The truth of the matter, though, he was charging, more than the premium. But it's funny because at that time, though, everybody was happy. I said everybody's making money. it just made sense. You just do the math. Okay, we're gonna do an addition on our house. In this neighborhood, houses are selling for $340 per square foot, right? We're gonna add 400 square feet. So we take 400, we times it by 340, and they're making money. Go do that math now, motherfucker. Nobody's making no money like that, right? So
it happens,
So it'll be different times. It'll be good for you. I think you're gonna be happy.
Oh, happy and shit.
Because
except I still can't sell this fucking car I got. I bought this car to fucking
the Sonic?
To drive and make money while I flip and make money on the flip and then buy something else cheap.
Right.
The market has gone down enough where I can justify what they're charging for used cars. But I'm telling you, I can't fucking sell that fucking car to save my life. I can't get one person to even come look at it.
I mean, there's
first person that looks at it is going to buy it, right? There's nothing wrong with the car.
Well, there's a couple things wrong with the car, and
it's shitty looking.
No, I think you're missing the biggest negative aspect of that car. It's a manual, and to me,
manuals are a tough sell.
Not that it's a tough sell. Who do you know that can drive a manual? I mean, we can. You know what I'm saying? But can you find me a 19 or 20-year-old motherfucker driving manual?
Well, they wouldn't know what to do with that.
I mean, I'm serious. Have you ever driven the 3 on the tree shit?
Yeah, I had a 66 Chevy C10 with an inline 6 250 motor with 3.
Hold on, I saw you going way too fast. It was a C10, so it was a truck.
1966 Chevy C10.
See, I don't know it. So how did that work? Or the column shifter? Where do you start? You start in neutral?
Neutral's kind of in the middle. It was shaped like an H, So yeah.
So it's not just straight up and down. It's you got to jerk that fucking thing off. You said fucking down. Yeah, come on, get in the fourth.
No, full towards up, I believe, was 1. Straight down from there was 2, and then up middle, back 3, and then your reverse was,
no fucking wonder they got rid of that shit. Imagine trying to drink and drive and that goddamn thing. You'd go down the road and fucking.
I had a common issue with that truck. If you would shift it too fast, the bushings were worn out and they would fucking get seized up.
How could
you would get stuck and couldn't get in gear? I'd have to pop the hood and literally fucking lock out this fucking little thing, get that shit loose again, and then be able to actually put it in gear and drive. But that happened more times than not.
How could you even shift it too fast? How is that even possible?
I don't know, but
how could you even shift it at all?
You just had to ease it into it. I think the bushings need a little grease, and I never did.
It reminds me of this, right? So what's funny is like if you look at a keyboard, I want to pick the keyboard up, and which I'll probably fuck the whole podcast up by doing
everything.
But so basically, if where your hands go on a keyboard, right? There's no vowels here, right? Except for the A, right? Do you know why that is?
I see an E.
No, where your fingers go here. If you actually type, right?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so basically what happened was when all the women were doing the majority of typing, that the typewriter couldn't do it fast enough. And so if they had all the vowels there, the women could type too fast and it would fuck the typewriter up. It would just jam. So in order to slow the women down, right?
This is a true story.
Yeah, true story, right? Okay. In order to slow them down, right, they moved all the vowels. That's why the keyboard's so shitty. Everything's fucking fuck, it'd be easier if all the keys that you use the most were right here where you need them the most, right? But so at any rate, that's that fucking shifter you're talking about. That thing is bullshit. Try to it's just clusterfuck. Yeah, no, I couldn't do it.
I'm blowing that truck up on the way to Flagstaff. That's the one that my dad rebuilt underneath the tent, with the lights that we were talking about.
But it had a column shifter?
Yeah. Factory.
And what year was it?
The gas tank was behind the seat in the cab. That was dangerous as fuck too.
Behind the seat,
big old metal tank behind the seat,
So I mean, as long as you don't flip it, you're probably okay. But that's a son of a bitch.
But they were, safety standards were a lot lower back then. Right?
What year was it?
66.
Yeah, that's cool.
Super cool.
No, that's way cool. But yeah,
we did the wood slap bed on it. Like we stained it.
Oh, trucks are hot now. You get a nice old truck like that. Take Barrett Jackson, but you get big money.
For some reason, nobody liked the long. Everybody wanted the short bed in that truck. Nobody was interested in that long bed, and I like a long bed.
Back to the Chevy Sonic, right? Because that's what we're really talking about. The whole manual thing. You're gonna have to find another one of you to drive the fucking thing. You know what millennials are doing? I seen one the other day, and good for her for doing it. But it was like an Asian chick, I'm assuming, That's all I can make out because she had a helmet on. Right?
Okay.
So I'm assuming it was an Asian girl by the lack of ass
Fair enough.
and the helmet, but in the jet black hair. But she was riding one of those electric scooters. They're fast as shit.
Like the stand-up ones?
It's like the Bigfoot with a seat.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So when the Bigfoot came out, right, had the seat, blah, blah, blah.
Seat was optional.
But that was as good as it got.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that was the thing to do. You know, that flopped, right? It was just ahead of its time. Now they got the electric one, and I'm thinking, I mean, like legit, they've got some that go like 80 miles an hour, right? That's what millennials are doing. Fuck your car. We'll just get a scooter goes 80. They're like the Jetsons, but the Jetsons never kind of came around. You know, we should be flying by now. We're kind of like, because we put a man on the moon in like the 60s or whatever.
Did we?
That's a you thing.
Shut the fuck
right?
up. I don't believe any bit of that. That was done in the studio. You kiss
whatever.
Why haven't we been back?
Why would you go back?
Riddle me that.
What would you go back for?
In what, 60 plus years?
Hold on.
Back.
What's the last restaurant you went to and you had a shitty experience? Like you went to one recently,
I Red Robin.
And you're not going back.
I mean, it's been a while.
But you know, like you could come up every week, you ban a new restaurant. The other day, it was like fucking Chipotle and Subway, and you're not going back, right?
Because of price.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You said shitty experience, not price.
Okay, so price.
Okay.
So the moon is not only a shitty experience, but that motherfucker's expensive. You talk about Chipotle being expensive because you got guac. Try to go fucking send your sorry ass to the moon and see what that costs, you know? So that's part of the issue, right? It's expensive to get there. And when you get there, what the fuck are you going to do? Look around?
Study it.
What are we going to study?
I'll see if we can.
That shit is all the same.
We filled up Earth. We got to go somewhere else.
No, we still got Missouri to conquer because that's where I'm going. I'm going to Lake of the Ozarks.
Wyoming.
Who buys $4 drink? Burger King is fucked. I paid $4. Who? Don't do that. Don't go to Burger King. See, that's the thing is that's pure lazy. Like I get it.
I just talked about Burger King $4 a drink last week with the chicken nuggets.
No, because every Burger King is almost strategically positioned right by like a Quick Trip. I feel like, or at least by a gas station. Me and Daniel get into it over this. Yeah, but no, I'm hitting the Schlotzky's or whatever, and then I'm getting my drink at Circle K or Quick Trip. I mean, it's $1, you know. And it to me, it's not just the price, but I want the hookup, you know. You know, that bullshit little 21 ouncer. By the time you put ice in it, we get 9.5 drops. You know,
pack those things so full of ice.
Oh, chuck full ice. You know, you know.
Why isn't Fuddruckers more popular? That thing's kind of went downhill over the years. That place is so good.
I don't think it went downhill. I think they were ahead of their time. It's only as of recently, right, that there's even such a thing as a fucking gourmet hamburger. That's a new concept.
I mean, every Fuddruckers I've seen has just turned into just a complete shit.
But they're ahead of their time. They just
were coming out with the gourmet burgers before people wanted gourmet. Yeah,
they were too quick to market. You know, they came out and they said, "Hey, we're gonna make you a hamburger," and everybody said, "Sounds like a pretty good proposition." They said, "Hey, and it's gonna be better than any hamburger you had." And they said, "Well, shit." And we're gonna have the fresh vegetables,
fresh ingredients you put on yourself, as many as you want,
and as many damn pickles. And everybody's like, "I'm in it. I'm in it."
You should go to Fuddruckers. I love pickles.
And then,
oh my god,
I
get a pile.
And then here comes the sucker punch, right? It's gonna be $9. That was a lot of money. I remember going to Fuddruckers. That was kind of
on the expensive side.
Kind of when you could go to like rallies and get the Big Buford for $2.
True.
And you go to Fuddruckers, $9 fucking bucks.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
You know.
Okay.
And meanwhile, our power shut off. You know, my mom just pawned the fucking air conditioner. And it's June 11th. It's June 11th. You know.
Yeah, you're bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
What is one thing that got pawned though when you were younger?
See, my parents were real fucking sneaky. There was a lot of shit disappeared with no explanation. And to this day, I'm still thinking that was alien abduction. I mean, I think an alien abducted my GoPed and that motherfucker evaporated. All my
GoPed disappeared?
Oh,
that's fucked up.
Dude, I was a hustler, right? Mm-hmm. So the neighbor was selling this Ford Ranchero. And long story short, I've always worked. Earlier when you're talking about, about work, I've never not had a job. So my grandfather saved all this money for me, and basically what he did was every time I brought money, he would match it. And this amassed to be like $600, which was a lot more money than it is now.
Oh, shit.
So the neighbor was selling a Ranchero, right? Ford Ranchero. And I'm like, oh, no brainer. So my grandfather it was like a 68 and had the 460 big monster truck motor in it. That's what the monster trucks use. And anyway, so I bought it. And Dale, that I don't know if you ever knew or had any overlap with Dale. He was Brian Borton's buddy. Wanted it.
I didn't really hang out with Borton too much.
So he traded me an alcohol go-kart and a GoPed Super, the orange one. What the fuck was the orange one?
X-Ped?
No, like that, but maybe it was yeah. So I guess maybe it was the X-Ped. It was the orange one with had the grind deck.
Grind deck, yeah. X-Ped, yeah.
And I parked that in my backyard next to my GoPed. My GoPed had everything, the pipe car. It was just as good as it got at that time.
For the time,
you
couldn't do. There was so limited. You could max that GoPed out for so cheap back then. It was the funnest thing because they hadn't came out.
I mean, it wasn't cheap.
It wasn't cheap back then. But like I said, compared to what you can do now,
it wasn't cheap.
Going to $5,000 scooters now.
I mean, I think that pipe I got. It was $189 or something.
Yeah, no, they're expensive back then.
And that was a chunk of change. That was a Christmas present, for my parent. But at any rate, so my GoPed sitting there, and then that was sitting there, and come home, and that one's just gone. And so nobody knows. My stepdad was beyond a hater. The neighbor had a story about some kids running down the road, but the day before that, I stole a bunch of shit with Freddie. We went to the hardware store, and that was when diamond tip drill bits were like the new thing that actually could drill. And we stole like $80 or $90 worth of drill bits, and the next day. And that's why I still don't steal shit to this day.
So karma got your fucking ass bad.
So that was one. We didn't have a lot of stuff to get taken though. So yeah, that was a thing. What about you? Anything?
No. I had a chunk of gold that got disappeared when I was a kid, and
evaporated.
My dad had melted it down for me and said, hang on to this. It's going to be worth a bunch of money one day. And it was just, he just melted down a bunch. It was a nice little gold rock. And my mom kept it safekeeping in her jewelry box. Well, years later, one day I asked about it, and it was, she had sold it so we could move to Tennessee at that time. So I said, well, I said, you didn't even ask me. It's my gold. Well, you wanted to move to Tennessee. I said, if you would have given me the option of selling gold, move to Tennessee or not, I wouldn't have sold the fucking gold to move to Tennessee.
Well, the good news is gold hasn't went up very much. So you didn't lose out on much,
Right. But it was a kind of a sentimental thing. My dad had, melted down a bunch of shit for me.
Yeah, no.
My little gold nugget that I just had.
The other thing was, I think the big thing in my childhood that got taken was like relationships, There was just people that just came and fucking went, and I think that was probably more of it. And then with that, there was like, oh, this grandma over here bought you some savings bonds. Well, then when that relationship fucking ended, there went the savings bonds with that motherfucker. So it's like, Mom, goddammit, you couldn't hold the shit together. Those savings bonds are going to mature in a couple of years. You super fucked me out of that,
right.
So.
Would they be really worth shit these days,
it couldn't be worth less than zero because that's what I got, So how much worse could it be? But,
God.
But it's all part of it. I'm not salty about it. The funny thing is now I got too much shit I got to get rid of, so it's all fine and whatever. It's part of it. But yeah, no, I had it a lot worse. The air conditioning thing, you remember Jesse that died, that was my best friend. So RIP. But Jesse was always talking shit, just like me. And so we were at a place. Remember when JR? Did you know JR? Did you know JR during JR's money time?
I wasn't there for that.
Okay. So for those four of you that don't know, what happened with JR was his grandmother inherited a bunch of money. And for whatever fucking reason, she gave him a debit card or he stole her debit card and robbed this bitch blind. Absolutely blind. And I'm not talking about a little bit of money. So let me give you a couple things that JR did, right? I remember instead of going back and forth to Ace Hardware to buy bolts, they went to Ace Hardware and bought everything.
Just cases of shit.
Cases, and they bought the racks. So he went to Ace Hardware and spent like $2,500. Keep in mind, 20 years ago, which is what this was, and actually a little better than 20 years ago.
How old was this kid?
He was 16.
Yeah.
He was right on the verge of 16.
So you give a 16-year-old unlimited amount of money.
He was like Richie Rich.
He was acting like a 16-year-old should act with an unlimited supply of money, right?
I mean, no. I mean, in the sense, if you're going to rob your grandmother blind. He went to Circle K and bought everything. Like all the Slim Jims. We went to, Eric Robertson's house. And I mean, it was all the dumb shit you could buy. Like he would take everybody paintballing every weekend. He had the baddest paintball guns. God, I mean, there were so many stories, but the problem is he didn't like me. And so I couldn't tell you all. He was more a Jesse and Aaron's friend. So at any rate, he robbed his grandmother blind, had a Honda Civic with a B16 when that first came out.
Top of the line shit back then.
Tweed header. Tweed. With his initials in it and shit. I'm serious.
I love it.
Yeah, that was big money.
Tweed interior.
Yeah, that was big money.
100%. That was all the rage. Everyone had the tweed.
So the pond air conditioner thing, though, it was funny because Jesse, we're 13, 14 years old, big table, and JR is paying for everybody's food except mine. I was the only one that worked, so I had like not a lot of money, but I had,
He wasn't hooking you up because you didn't like it.
Yeah, well, it was like competition because I had money, but I didn't have a lot. I had $20, and then he had a bazillion, and then everybody else is flat ass broke.
Everyone in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and then because it was such a cutthroat thing, like Jesse told JR, hey, Travis is trying to steal from you. So that way he would confide with Jesse so Jesse could rob his ass blind. That was just the way it went. So we're there, and Jesse goes, and you remember Jesse, right? His mom, who also just recently died, but she was a big tweaker. The biggest of the biggest of the biggest, right? There wasn't a bigger fucking tweaker in the world than Pam, right? Rest in peace. So he tells me, hey, Travis, I heard your mom's in heat, right? So he's trying to like get me with like the sick burn, And I said, Jesse, your whole family's in heat because your mom pawned the fucking air conditioner, right? Which was like to this day a really good comeback for 14.
Good burn, right?
Yeah, so that was the pawn the air conditioner.
That was the normal.
It was.
We didn't really see anything wrong with it. I mean, we did kind of, but not like
his mom. Did I ever tell you his mom stole my GoPed?
Shut up.
So I had the GoPed. Like I always had the nicest GoPed, right? But I worked really hard for that. And then my parents, for Christmas and stuff, everything I had went into my GoPed. I bought my first GoPed for $25.
Shit.
Clapped. I mean, fucking gone. Yeah. But my first GoPed cost me $25. Spindle drive, of course.
But that was your everything. That was your transportation. I mean, so you were pimping that thing out. That was honestly.
It was I'll pull up to your house and everybody's gonna bow and beg for a ride.
Right.
I was the dude.
Ride that's so sick.
I remember getting pipes and all of a sudden, you got to explain to people what a power band is. I was the dude. But seriously, that shit hit hard. For that age, 12, 13 years old. I was like, wee, fucking. Sent my buddy off the back end one time.
Weighed about 92 pounds at the time.
Not even, Right? Oh, the handlebars and me were even. They're just right above it. But yeah, so I was at Jesse's house, and we come outside, and I go, my GoPed's gone. We look everywhere, GoPed's gone. That shit's gone. So his mom stole my GoPed, right? So she leaves. Went to a pawn shop. They wouldn't buy it type of thing. Her tweaker ass forgot she had it. Put like a blanket over the back, and she stopped back at the house and like to get something. And I went out and I saw a blanket in the back of the car and I'm like, and under the blanket was my GoPed.
Shut the fuck up.
And I go, Pam, my GoPed's in the back of your car. Yeah, 2 kids down the road stole it. You ought to give me a reward. They stole your GoPed. And Jesse's laughing as if it's some sort of humorous. This is my,
everything.
I can't just go home and tell my parents 400, X amount of dollars worth of GoPed are gone.
Yeah, just
and she's telling me that, this and that, and she tried to steal my shit. Poor Jesse, he had it as rough, and actually rougher than anybody. He had a tough go at it. I remember his mom, the fucking nightmare. Oh man, yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
And
There were some stories there.
oh yeah, a bunch of them. Well, you knew Craig. Craig was worse than anybody.
Yeah, right.
He ended up getting shot by SWAT in downtown Phoenix.
You know, like who does that?
Did you know the story or no?
No, I don't know the story.
Oh, you don't know the story with Craig? So
ahead.
he was in jail, right? He got just so bad on fucking meth. So he goes to jail, gets out. He's in a stolen car, and he's got a plastic BB gun, right?
Of course he does.
And how well did you know? So you kind of left. You didn't. You didn't know Craig as a tweaker. You knew him before that.
Yeah, I did. But it's so funny that tweakers. You can always guarantee that they never have a gun, right?
Jesse's mom used to say that because I used to always say
the first thing to go. That's the first thing. That's why they always have a knife. But a tweaker can never have a gun because that's the first thing to sell, you know what I mean? To get fucking more dope, you know?
That's exactly, Jesse's mom used to say that. Tweakers never have guns because that's the first thing they can pawn.
100%.
So at any rate, Craig goes to jail, and he was bad off. As bad off as you can imagine anybody being bad off. And he goes to jail, comes out, steals a car, and has a stolen car, And long story short, he had a plastic BB gun. He thought this guy was following him, so he did a U-turn. The guy does a U-turn. So he does another one real quick and points out the window. Well, it's a fucking undercover cop following him because it's a stolen car. So he ends up in a high-speed chase and right down to 17 from the neighborhood.
I think he's armed. This motherfucking tweaker's got a BB gun.
Goes to downtown Phoenix. Gets into a parking garage because the helicopter's out at that point. He realizes the helicopter's following him.
What's he trying to accomplish in downtown?
He's like doing real-life GTA shit.
Oh, yeah.
So he gets downtown.
The parking garage, they're just going to forget he's in there, huh?
So he rips this attorney out of her Suburban, like she's about to get in, puts her at gunpoint, BB gun, plastic gunpoint, right? Takes off in her Suburban. By that point, SWAT's on them and shit. They got the warthog. He tries to pull out of the parking structure. They pin his ass to the parking structure, and then they get out with a fucking AR and just kill Tweaker Craig right there.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But man, me and Aaron, we had some wild fucking nights over there with Craig. It was crazy. I remember, and keep in mind, I was 14.
Yeah.
Barely a freshman high school. We would go there at night.
Out of our tweaker's house
So we would go there and we would put our fucking like this, our shirt over our mouth so we didn't get contact high. And he'd be in there and the whole room was just full of fucking meth smoke. We just ducking down.
Smell is so bad too. That's the worst.
I don't remember, but I'm assuming that was the case.
That fucking smell.
Yeah, but he'd be making his own glass pipes, and I remember him with the torch, and he'd be blowing glass and blowing it, and that fucking thing, would pop, and you could just see in the light this glistening molten lava glass, just like, and he'd be, just like Beavis and Butthead type of shit, and we'd laugh so fucking hard, and then we'd buy everything from him. We'd wait till you get super high to just sell stuff. Oh, and I remember being there one night. My mom's bike was there. These motherfuckers stole my mom's bike. And I go, God damn, because it was a Marble bike. She got it from Marble Miles.
Shut the fuck up.
Swear to God. So she got so many Marble Miles. And she had us on the prowl. We were like 9-10 years old. People throw cigarettes out the window. You still kind of litter, but most people don't now. But back then, everybody littered. You just throw that shit out the window if you get sick of it.
Bring back littering. That shit was so much fun. I still do it. But I like seeing people do that shit. I mean, it was like a contest to see the biggest thing you can do. I remember my dad telling me to take out the trash and then go get me some cigarettes, right? I drive this fucking Ford Taurus, right? I would put the fucking kitchen garbage bag on the hood of the Taurus. And the first fucking turn, I'd get hit at 40 and watch that garbage bag just fly into a 35th Avenue. Garbage everywhere. I thought it was the greatest time ever. So much fun. Yeah.
So anyway, everybody, myself included, this big, we're collecting Marble Miles. That's back. They had the Pepsi challenge. Everything was going. Everybody was collecting everything. The Sprite lids. So at any rate,
you remember you get the free soda?
The Sprite.
It would be like free on Coca-Cola, free 20 ounce, and you can literally just take the bottle cap into the gas station and trade it for a soda.
You ever go to gas stations, open that shit inside the gas stations, and try to get the winner, so you can go get a.
Fucking fucking little ghetto thieving ass motherfuckers trying to beat the system.
But yeah, no, for real though. So what happened was my mom got the marble bike. She had everything. I still got a fucking duffel bag, but it was the folding one. It was like the first folding bike. So she had that shit out front.
It's circled by Marlboro. That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, and that motherfucker wouldn't go. She wouldn't gone a minute and a half, and some fucking be jammed out. So me and Aaron at Tweaker Craig's house, and I look over and I go. Now it's got oven cleaner and shit, paint stripper, right? It don't look like marble, but you can tell what it was. I go, that's my mom's bike. All right, you want to buy it?
Shut up.
Sold the motherfucker back.
You had to buy it?
He wasn't coming off it for free. All kind of shit. Anything that wasn't bolted down. We bought an RC helicopter one time as big as this room. Where they got it, God only knows. And we would walk home because we didn't have a car, you know.
Walk home with this shit right.
Well, from Lawrence, you know Lawrence, right? To Griswold. So let's call it a mile. It wasn't it's 3/4 mile. And it'd be
right
fucking
there on 28th and Lawrence Lane. Right?
Yeah. So it was cold. And we'd be walking home, me and Aaron. I mean, one night we bought a gun. I was
a real gun?
A real
14 years old.
14. And the reason the reason I bought the fucking gun was another fucking Aaron, right, kills me in Crazy Taxi. He goes, let's just play 10 cents a point, right? Let's play 10 cents a point. I'm like, okay, no problem. So he beats me. He beats me by like 50 million points. Because he's sitting there, and I'm terrible at video games to start with.
Yo, this guy $5,000 by the time
he's the only one with a Dreamcast, right? You know, so yeah, so
great that fucking game.
Yeah, so I go, oh yeah, 10 cents a point. How bad can it be? Literally, I owe him $6,900. Well, Aaron was my friend, and well, still is. But at any rate, so he did. I mean, if you want to say, I mean, he fucked me to start with. But the second part is, he basically said, if you give me this gun, then we'll be even. You know,
all right, hell of a deal then.
Oh yeah, I went from 6,000 down to 6. Not even say it was. You know, at that time no, I bet you we paid 300.
Okay.
So yeah, the 2-3 in the morning. I'm supposed to be at school the next day and shit. I'm walking home from Tweaker Craig's. We would go with backpacks
because you knew the shit you were gonna get.
But you just had to wait for them to get higher and higher, and at some point.
So you guys were just hustling. I mean, that was the whole point of hanging out.
Oh yeah,
comedy
and shit would just pour in.
Yeah,
because he was like the dude.
Same thing at my dad's house. Trucks would come in with rims, TVs. It was just like.
Yeah, and it was entertainment. I remember being at Craig's house, right? And Jesse and Craig, for some reason, never got along. Probably because they were cut from the same cloth. But I remember we were there, and I was one of the first people with a cell phone. Aaron was the first one with a cell phone, but I was just shortly after, you know. And I remember Jesse, hey, where you at? We at Craig's, you know, blah, blah, blah. We're at Craig's, you know, and okay, cool. And so we're sitting there, and then nobody came to the front door at Craig's house. Everybody knocked on the window. You know, so we're in Craig's bedroom and knock on the window, boom, 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 boom. You know, and then Craig was just who is it? And then it was, hey man, it's Jesse. Craig's not here, but it's Craig telling the joke, or saying it, but he's dead serious because he don't like Jesse, you know. And then Craig the window's open and he's yelling at the thing to his sister, who was like the guardian of the front door, you know, and
Tweaker as well.
Probably, who knows? But yeah, he was. Hey, tell him I'm not home. Tell him I'm not here.
As the windows open,
everything, and Jesse's like, so Craig, are you not home? And me and Aaron is like, kind of laughing, kind of not, and then kind of just like, what the fuck, man? So
the greatest,
dude, wild times. I could go on. I remember another one. I won't bore you with all these details, but Jesse's mom.
I mean, the stories are good.
Yeah, so she ended up moving out of her mom's house, right? So Jesse was like, there was like 4 generations in that house on Butler.
Okay.
And so they lived on the other side of the golf course on 23rd Avenue and Northern, 19th and Northern, in the hood. Mm-hmm. And we'd cut through that golf course to get there. And so the routine was, on the way to Jesse's house, we'd stop at the golf course, get the porta potty that was attached to a trailer, push that in the pond, fuck a bunch of stuff up.
Nonchalant. We're just grabbing a porta potty, throwing the pond.
Yeah, that was like the thing, and then so
shit all in the pond water. That's just great.
yeah. So then we go to Jesse's house, and I remember, I was just a little kid, 13, 14 years old, and his mom ripped off the drug dealer. And there was this guy named Greg, and to me, he was a tough guy. He was like, you just don't fuck with this guy. This guy would kill the universe,
Right.
because he was, 17 or whatever. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night. Well, first of all, everybody was fucking with each other. I think Greg put his dick on Freddie's face. And the story is the funniest because it was like middle of the night, and it was like his dick on his face. And Freddie going, that better not be what I think it is, So it was just that stupid adolescent bullshit, and then all of a sudden, just this terrifying beating on the door, like the door is going to implode. And it wasn't that scary until Greg was like, I'm going to jump off the balcony. And we're on the second floor. So there's all of us out on the patio just waiting for that door to get broken in for all of us to jump off the second floor.
Jesus Christ.
Because his mom went out and was like, oh, give me the drugs. Okay, I'll run and get the cash. I'll be right back. Well, she just never came back.
She just ran in?
Yeah, just did the move. And a whole house full of kids.
Like they weren't going to find her?
Oh, and it was just from here to there.
I'm just confused.
Yeah, literally, like he was at the bottom of the stairs. Okay, I'll be right back.
There was no plan. She was just going to shut the door and he wasn't going to get in.
Shit, she did it. That was the move, and she got away with it, She fucking absolutely robbed that son of a bitch.
Shut up.
Yeah, got his ass. Yeah,
Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, 100%. So just a lot of stories like that,
It's funny now.
Retrospectively it is, but the problem is there was so many casualties in it, now as a result of that, Jesse's dead, and I could just go on and on with all the motherfuckers that didn't make it out, that weren't as fortunate, so to say. But it's kind of funny looking back of the stupidity of the whole thing,
It's just endless, you can just go on forever about just random bullshit that we did, and a lot of it funny, but really, looking back, a lot of it was so fucking dumb. Like, how do we make it out alive kind of shit,
Yeah, and how unfortunate it was,
I've always had, might be an odd topic about the fucking neighborhood and the Twiggers, but let me tell you the first time I got arrested. So I've always had this problem that I think movies portray how stuff really is. And so if you watch a movie about, like a comedy about college, right? What do you see? You see people on campus getting drunk in the quad, smoking weed, partying, everyone's passing out, right? Nobody's doing anything about it. Well, that's not the case, right? So our buddy Alex, went to ASU. Me and Aaron were going to go visit him for the weekend in the dorms, right? So we take the city bus all the way down to ASU. And
oh, you guys busted there? I remember the story because I was around at that time.
And so I had bought, $20 worth of weed, and it was that, the Reggie. I had like 9 grams in my pocket. We were going to get fucking high all weekend, right? And this is great. And so we get down to campus, and it's not like that at all, by the way. I think the movies should stop fucking lying, because let me tell you, if you don't know any better, you think, I'm just walking around rolling joints on campus, smoking. Like, and people are like looking at me like, hey, man, you can't smoke that here. Why not? This is college, right?
Yeah.
This is what everyone does.
You thought it was like, how high?
Oh, 100%, and I really did,
Right.
Call it lack of common sense, call it whatever. But yeah, so I went and bought a 6-pack from this shitty gas station by Mill Avenue, and they sold it to me. Don't know why I didn't get carded. I think I was 18 years old. So I had a 6-pack, and so the reason I did get caught was before we entered this parking garage, Alex picked up a fucking boulder about this fucking big because he wanted to get something out of the garage, this tachometer that was on the dashboard of this fucking car, right? So I got my 6-pack and my weed, and somebody saw him grab a giant boulder and walk into a parking garage, and was like, hey, I better call the cops, right?
Right.
All of a sudden, the cops roll in. I try to ditch the 6-pack, and I'm drinking a beer at the time, and I think I had 4 left. I try to ditch it between some cars. Right, cops ain't stupid; they totally seen it. And then I ended up getting arrested. They didn't take me to jail or nothing, but I still had a court date. Ended up getting like a $550 fine.
You got arrested for that?
Yeah,
they put you in handcuffs.
100%.
You didn't get booked.
No.
They
So
let
they
you off
took
on the
my
ticket.
beer. I tried to ask for the beer back. They told me no because I was underage. Obviously, took the herb for me. Didn't get a ticket for the herb. Just the alcohol.
Yeah.
To the point of it, but they were just like,
and
you
nor
can't just-
should you, but yeah.
Yeah, and this was at the ASU cops, and it was just like, hey, you can't. They were just dumbfounded at how stupid I was acting, and to me, it was like, well, this is what I've always just seen in the movies.
Yeah,
I've
this
never
is
been
part
to
of the
college
deal.
before. I thought it was okay, and yeah. So, like I said, be careful of what you see on TV because it's not always the fucking truth. Like did you see Las Vegas on TV? Oh my god.
Different story,
That
yeah.
is the most glorious place in the fucking world. You couldn't imagine. Oh my
Oh,
god.
it's where billionaires go to get
it's
penthouse.
fucking, you
and,
fucking get there and you got guys selling fucking Ajax on the corner trying to push it out with coke. You got
right.
this asshole club promoter trying to lead you down a dark alley so he can fucking rob you.
Yeah.
There's a party bus waiting for you around this corner. Come on, I'll take you to the club. And it's horrible.
Yeah, no, that goes on.
Not as glamorous as it looks, right?
Yeah, not all the glitters gold type of shit, but yeah, it was not as normal as we, but when you're born into it,
it's your normal.
It's your normal.
Yeah.
You
didn't know what was, where you live now. Well, first off, didn't even exist back then, right? When we were living in the neighborhood.
Oh, this was all cotton fields.
Yeah,
but where we're sitting doesn't even. This is all,
yeah.
There were rabbits running around
You
here.
couldn't fathom being up here, right? 27th and Northern was your fucking stomping ground. That's all you fucking knew.
Didn't have the resources to do anything different than that anyways.
Yeah, you hustled the square mile that you lived in, all your fucking friends were there. Everybody was in the square mile.
Yeah, no, and unless something came to you, that was kind of a funny retrospect thing you just said. But yeah, unless like for example, Quick Trip came to 27th Avenue in Northern, but had it not came, I was never going to figure out what a Quick Trip was, because I orbited that little space right there, and that was the whole thing. Yeah. There was the rich people on the other side of Northern over there, kind of like by Orangewood on those acre lots,
Those
behind.
Are still nice over there.
Are they still there?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna drive by that next time.
Yeah, they're still nice.
Yeah, but
like a little pocket over there that's actually decent.
Well, yeah, some of those people got multiple acres.
They've been there for generations.
Yeah, I had a guy that lived over there, and I used to knock on everybody's door and ask if I could do chores for him, cut the grass or whatever, pick up dog shit type of thing. And I found a guy that goes, "Yeah, I go out of town," and he goes, "You can watch my dog while I'm out of town." That was back in the day when you would leave a dog outside. You would never dare do that now. So he would just I'm gonna
animal control knocking at your front door.
Yeah, he would just leave the dog outside, and then basically
you go feed and water it.
He paid me to feed and water a dog, and I remember he'd be gone for 10 or 12 days, and I wouldn't feed that motherfucker for most of them. Every so often my parents would, and then the last day or two before he got there, I'd stop by, make sure the dog had food and water, and then the day I'd come, he used to give me $10 a day to come and feed and water the dog. That fucking dog, that dog starved to death. That motherfucker was hungry as shit. Because it was like a quarter mile from my house. Fuck.
Yeah, you had to make that journey, right?
Well, I used to have to take my rollerblades or whatever I had at the time,
Skateboard.
Just whatever it was, it was. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we got super sidelined today. And it wasn't to be Debbie Downer, but that's kind of funny. The trip down memory lane, which is we lived in the same space, but just kind of not different times, but we had different overlaps because we were only a quarter mile from each other. So we got kind of the same.
Well, it was different times. Like I said, I had moved when you were moving in. And then I had come back and kind of lived in the apartments on Bethany Homes. I was 2 miles away.
Where did you live on Bethany?
No, right at 27th and Rose Lane right there. It was called Hunter's Glen apartment complex. I don't know what it's
Between
called now.
Bethany and Glendale?
Yeah, so just next to St. Simon and Jude Church right there.
Yeah.
There's 3 apartments. I lived in the middle one.
See, I only ever knew of you where your dad was right here on 27th and Northern.
Yeah, no, so
But before that, you lived on 27th and Bethany.
No, when I came back from living in Tennessee for 2 years, we lived 27th Bethany.
Right.
For 7th and 8th grade. Still went to Palo Verde. Bus picked me up. And then after graduating in 8th grade, my mom got a settlement and then bought the house
up north, right? Yeah.
North, and that's where my north side venture started. Was then.
Right.
But like I said, so when you were coming in, I was
Right,
leaving,
you on your way
and
out.
then I was 2 miles away at Bethany. I was still talking to Aaron. We were hanging out.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
but,
that's how I met you, is through Aaron.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So, but like I said, it was just you weren't there for my main years in that neighborhood. I had left, you know, when you were coming
gone.
in, so yeah.
Yeah, but it's as close, overlap. But yeah, the all my it's so funny, my I don't want to say colleagues because I don't have any, but my friends or people that I've met as of recently, let's call it, they would never in 100 years guess that was the case.
Right.
They would never fucking guess, that was what went on at some point. So it's
your whole Chandler situation was interesting too, because that whole Chilton Street game, because you had rented a room on the corner. And you had met everyone on Chilton Street.
Yeah.
And I remember you were like, "This is the best street in America. I'm gonna buy a house on this street.
Right.
I'm gonna be fucking king." And you did, and you did that, and you were fucking. And it's just funny because, you went from renting a room. Me and Aaron would come out there randomly because it was so far at that time.
Oh yeah, 26 miles. Yeah.
Right now I'm just fucking cruising up here like it's nothing. But so. Coming over here, you're renting a room at fucking Alan's house, and that was always comedy, right? Oh god, going over there, Alan was so fucking high strung about everything, and
poor Alan.
Oh my god,
I used to torture him.
Him through fucking hell, man. God damn.
He was never prepared.
He was the worst roommate ever.
But
honestly,
Alan was from Yakima, Washington. He was adopted, right? He's a product of World War II, so he was a product of somebody. Either raped or maybe consensually had intercourse.
Is that where the roof racks come from? The Yakima roof racks? Is that from the
Washington
thing?
Really? Yeah. From Yakima, Washington.
I didn't know there was a city called Yakima. But
yeah. And so anyway, Alan was adopted, but this beautiful, nice Catholic couple and was just raised proper way. But here was this half Korean, half white fucking goofy ass son of a bitch that had these like moral upbringing, by these white fucking Catholic people. So he could just never see any angles, right. So I used to fuck with his ass. And in hindsight, I kind of regret it, but we got to go because we're out of time. But I'll tell you the funniest story. He used to piss me off because I always said, you got to take care of the yard and the pool, Alan. That's part of the fucking landlord deal. I'm paying my rent and I pay my third of the electric bill, right? So you got to, the yard and the pool. And so he would let the pool go. So what I would do every day I got off work, I would just pee in the pool, So I'd get off work and pee in the pool. I'm not going to the pool no more because it was always it was green half the time anyways. So he'd get home and shock it and get in there and be like, oh, look how nice the pool is, and I've just been pissing in it 10 minutes ago. But the funniest was I said, Alan, you need to cut the grass, this and that. And so what I would do is I would just I would start the lawnmower and carve my initials in it, so the yard would have my initials burnt into it on the corner of Chilton Street. So I told Alan he had to do the yard. And so what I did was I took the fucking blade off the lawnmower. And so he just wasn't mechanical. And so he goes out there middle of June, I said, you cut the grass, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to do it, and I just tortured him. So anyway, he does a whole pass and looks and no progress has been made, right? Because I put the blade off. And so he does another pass and he realizes no progress has been made, right? So he did it twice more with zero grass being cut.
4 times?
Right? No, this gets better. He had just bought the 4Runner. This was the first kind of year when 4Runners got cool. We got the leather package, everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
it was nice.
Yeah, he got that sweaty ass lawnmower. We're talking about like June 13th. It's hot. Muscles it, takes the bag out, puts it in the back of the car. Brand new 4Runner, full leather package, puts it in the back of the car. And my buddy, I had recorded it because I told my buddy what I did, And so Alan looks over and looks back and looks in. Finally, he decides, okay, he grabs the bag, puts the bag in the back of the truck, takes it to the lawnmower shop, drops it off, right?
Fuck you. Really?
Yeah.
That's really... You're such a...
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, he takes it to the lawnmower shop, right? Okay. Drops it off, hey, this thing ain't mowing. Runs good. Don't cut for shit. And so they go, I remember we got to sharpen the blade or something, you know. So they call him, you're missing the blade, right? So he steams to that fucking place, pays them their $75 service. Oh yeah, service charge. Let them know, hey, you don't have a blade. And my buddy, you know, Alan had short man syndrome. You know, he had like his hair kind of back to here, and
he would get pissed.
Oh, he would get so mad. So, at any rate, the funniest part was my buddy recorded it. I gotta get that video at some point from Mike Heinrich's Crush Street.
Oh, that'd be great.
So Alan gets there, opens up the door of that brand new 4Runner, rips the fucking lawnmower out of the back, throws it out. He's pissed. Grabs the bag, throws it. Because he's short, he couldn't reach the fucking trunk hatch. So he jumps up to slam dunk it and falls and rips his pants, right? And gets up. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't break the glass out of the back. By the time he got a hold of that fucking thing and slam dunked it, you know, like.
Oh, he's mad as fuck. He didn't
so
know what happened, right?
Pissed, right? So he's calling. I don't answer. I'm at work. So finally, I call him and, Alan, what's happening, man? You know, sorry I was at work. My fuck up. I go, Alan, I told you the other night when you were drinking that blade had to be sharpened. And that's why I pulled it off to sharpen it. I sharpened it for you, and it's on the bench. And he felt so guilty for yelling at me.
You over here passive-aggressively fucking this guy.
Dude, he goes, Travis, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I can't believe I was mad at you. You know, he was literally apologized to me.
If you ever met Alan, you would fucking completely understand that this is real shit. No bullshit.
It was as good as it gets, you know. And the next time, if you want more Alan stories, I got an even better one than that. But yeah, he was so mad about that. And then I explained to him, hey, man, I was just trying to help you out, sharpen the blade.
To fuck you up. And then fucked up his finger, demanded you drive him to the hospital because he broke his thumb that night.
Yeah.
There's plenty. I mean, God, this is comedy.
So if you remind me next time, I have one that's.
We gotta bring. This is why we freestyle. You know, I don't know how we ended up on the fucking Allen stories, but here we are. It's good shit, right?
Such is life. But we are over. My poor girlfriend. I gotta get home.
Damn, hour and 7, man. We're just killing it. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.
Stay greasy.
If you didn't watch, fuck you.
Yeah, right on.